A massive offshore earthquake of magnitude 8.8 struck Russia's eastern Kamchatka Peninsula, generating a tsunami of up to 13 feet, damaging buildings and prompting evacuation warnings. The quake was about 119 kilometers away from the Russian city of Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, which also experienced strong tremors. Kamchatka governor said the earthquake was serious and the strongest in decades of tremors in the area. It is the strongest earthquake globally since Japan's 2011 Tohoku quake, and it is now being reported as the sixth most powerful earthquake ever recorded in the history. Several aftershocks were reported after the major earthquake. However, more than 10 aftershocks above magnitude 5 were experienced. According to the experts, there will be continued aftershocks over coming weeks or months, though gradually reducing, surprising. Near Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula lies a chain of small islands known as Kuril Islands, located between Russia and Japan. That is the reason why Japan too felt strong tremors of the earthquake. Severokurilsk is the Kuril island, experienced strong tremors, flooding, and damage to buildings. A few people were hurt, but luckily, no deaths have been confirmed. 2,400 to 2,700 people were evacuated from low lying areas of the Kuril Islands. While the population in Kuril Island is less, Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky has population of 1.80 lakh. Tsunami warnings were issued across Japan, Hawaii, Alaska, US, South America, New Zealand, and Philippines. In Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, the shaking was intense, but the city sustained minimal damage. This was because it's located behind Avacha Bay, an area in the Pacific Ocean surrounded by volcanoes and mountains, which naturally protect it from big ocean waves and tsunamis. That is why the city did not suffer much damage. Soon after the earthquake, the Klicherskoye volcano in Kamchatka too erupted. There have been no casualties from the eruption. On Avacha Bay, dozens of sea lions fled to higher ground before tsunami waves approached after the quake. Surprisingly, Russian capital Moscow did not feel the tremors of the earthquake as it lies about 6,800 kilometers from the epicenter. Only the far eastern areas of Russia were affected. Overall, in Russia, there was a wall collapse at a kindergarten, but since it was closed, no one was hurt. There were interruptions in electricity and internet services and flooding in some parts. Structural inspections of around 600 apartment buildings found no major risk of collapse. There were no casualties as well. Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula earthquake affected other countries as well. In Japan, there were tsunami waves of up to 10 feet high, causing minor flooding and transport disruptions. Over 20 lakh people were advised to evacuate due to tsunami warning. At least four large whales washed ashore, and there were no major injuries or death were reported. In US, alerts were issued in Hawaii, Alaska, California, Oregon, Washington West Coast, and beaches were closed. Small tsunami waves of about 3 feet were recorded. However, no damage or injuries were reported. Philippines, New Zealand, Chile, and other South American countries experienced small tsunami waves and mild flooding. However, no injuries were reported. There were minor flooding incidents only. Thanks to early warning systems and quick evacuation, no major damage or loss of life occurred.